Hi, everyone. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Open House Podcast with me, one of your hosts, Ben Robitaille, and
Richard Thompson.
There he is. Look at that smile. My goodness. Richard has brought in another wonderful guest today that I'll be honest, I know absolutely nothing about. So I'm going to be learning with you, the audience. So Richard, please tell us about our guest today.
Yes, just to be clear, I didn't just bring her in, like tie her up and bring her in without any option. It's completely voluntary. Just want to make that clear.
That's good. Good starting point. All right.
So we have someone who goes by a few different titles, whether it's an artist, president, local entrepreneur. I would say even maybe an ecologist, someone that really loves the environment. I wanted to introduce the world to Jess Graham, who is someone that has kind of just by chance come into my life, and I think is, just a very interesting person, has some great interests and a really good view on the world. So I wanted to bring her on, pick her brain a little bit, and share what she's got going on. So thanks for coming on, Jessica.
Thank you.
Woo, welcome to the show, Jessica Graham. Do you prefer Jess or Jessica?
Jess,
okay. Good. I didn't want to assume and just jump to like informal, hi, we're friends territory. Yeah. How did you guys meet? I need to know.
Through the North Simcoe Rotaract Club.
Okay. So Richard's mentioned Rotaract to me before. What is Rotaract?
It's kind of like the younger version of Rotary. Most people know about Rotary.
Okay.
Rotary, I think, originally started as like business owners all hanging out, doing good things and networking. And then Rotaract is basically young professionals doing similar stuff. Basically, we just plan events for charity causes and usually connect with other people and help try and build up each other's careers as we go, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's like a fundraising group.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I think what I see in it is there's a term. It's like class president kind of club, or like what do you call that? Student council. Yeah. Which, you know what? Originally, I wouldn't say I relate to it all. I was definitely not that type of person in high school. I was definitely a hide in the shadows type of guy. I didn't really get the spotlight much. So I was a little bit unsure if the club fit my vibe, if I was going to fit in. But you know what? Honestly, it's just a bunch of people that want to do good things and want to spend time with other human beings their age and support these local community beneficiaries and things like that. So that's what I've been finding in the group. So it's a little
now when you say your age, like what are we talking here age wise? Like sub 50, sub 60? Like what?
I think technically we're supposed to be under 30 something, but a bunch of us are like early 30s, not wanting to roll over into the Rotary Club.
Fair. Hold on to it.
Yeah, I think our youngest is maybe 24-ish, 25-ish.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be like 18 to 30, I think, is the like group it's supposed to be.
Damn it.
Right. So yeah, I'm pushing that. I feel like one of the older people in the group, I think. I don't know. You might know that better than me, Jess. I think I am one of the older people.
I don't know. I actually don't know your age, but Kevin and I are both like I'm 31.
Okay, so we're the same age, yeah.
Well, I'm 32, and I don't plan on we're like a new club if I ever can't stay.
Yeah. So just to be clear, Jessica is the president this year. So every year they do a nomination and they someone else takes over as president. So Jessica is our president at the moment.
Nice. Was it a competitive campaign or no?
No, I was the only one that ran.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have won either way. But cool. Are you from the area? Did you grow up here?
Yep. Yeah, I have lived in Tiny my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was growing up? I know I sound like I'm from here as a Robitaille, but what was growing up in Tiny like? Like
it was good. I actually live like less than a kilometer away. Like I bought a house less than a kilometer away from my childhood home.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm down like near the beaches. And so, yeah, just a lot of playing outside and just you were friends with whoever, like whatever kids were out here because there were not very many kids.
Right. Friendship by proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learning on the
Nice.
bus, like, okay, like how far is that person's house? I could probably get there. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are the folks still like in their original house?
Yep.
Wow.
Nice.
It's nice that you can go back there and see that. I don't have that opportunity. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So growing up in Tiny, where did you go to school? Did you have to go into Penetang? Is that where they shipped you off?
Yeah.
Okay.
PSS.
Is it PSS too? Oh wow. One of the last few graduating classes there. I think maybe Reed was the last graduating class, but
he's the same as my sister.
When you find the news out that your high school is going to be demolished, what does that feel like?
I didn't love school, so it wasn't. I thought it was silly because I feel like it's crummy to be limiting the school options, like for future kids. But yeah, I didn't have any emotional connection to it.
You weren't listening to like Nickelback's Photograph on repeat.
Yeah, it was just
like no. Okay, that's good. That's good. I don't know if anyone should be listening to that much Nickelback anyway. Yeah. Okay. So other than Rotaract, this is me not knowing anything about it. What do you do?
So now I am pursuing being a full-time artist and writer. And before that, I was in a family business in town.
Sorry, you were working in the family business in town?
Yeah.
What was that? Okay. What was the business? Sorry.
Originally it was a quick change oil change shop in Midland, and then that evolved to another automotive business called Crown that was like just outside of Midland.
Okay.
Which have been sold and we're no longer a part of. But yeah, I spent most of my working years from a very young age like doing that.
Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say wasn't the dream maybe when you left high school?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and it was like I definitely love business. So for a really long time, I thought that was what I was gonna do, was just like buy it or take it over. And it wasn't until like I probably started working for my mom and dad. Gosh, I don't even know, like very young, very, very, very young. And it wasn't until into my early 20s that I was like, maybe this isn't what I want to be doing. And then I started exploring like other things, like, and I expressed that to them. Like I said, I don't think that this is for me. And so
how'd they take that?
It was like a big, what really steered it was the fella I'm married to now. My partner was also doing a career change. And so he was getting taken out of town for a little bit. And I was like, I could go with him and try something different. And anyway, so I gave my parents I think 6 or maybe even 8 months notice of at the end of this year, I think I'm going to stop. Wow. I ended up going back and help doing things for probably 5 years from that point onward till it was sold. But yeah, that was a hard conversation. But
I can't imagine how that goes.
Yeah, they were I'm sure that they knew.
Right.
And were they supportive of the next stage of your life and what you were deciding to do?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And was that conversation hey, I want to leave this to go do art, or was that conversation I want to leave this to go do I don't know what I'm going to find it?
Yeah.
The second one.
Okay.
Yeah. I basically said I'm just not super happy and I don't know what I need to do, but I would like to go and explore something else.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a realization that a lot of people probably have in their 20s. But if you've been doing the same thing for a long time and you're like, dang, I'm not happy, you got to do something about it. And I think a lot of people don't do something about it, and you did something about it. Do you feel like that
Yeah.
was the right choice now, looking back?
If it was the right choice?
Yeah. Are you still
Oh,
finding
yeah.
that out?
Yeah. Like I still definitely don't think I have like a super clear direction of where I would like to end up. But in terms of just like the freedom of not feeling like my decisions are affecting so many people, because that's always how it was, right? Like anything that was going on in the family business would always be brought home, and the way that all of us were doing anything would affect each other. And I do like now that it's like I just have to worry about me and my partner and how it'll affect him. But for the most part, it's like, I could choose to sign up for something and go do it, or I don't have to. Yeah, less accountability for sure, which is very nice.
It is nice.
When you said came home to the family, do you have siblings that were also working in the business at all?
I have a younger sister, and she worked a little bit on and off, but she was never like, it definitely was never in her plan to stick with it. I was definitely more involved. It would just come home just because, like, naturally I'd be like, oh, can you believe this happened today? Or what are we going to do about that tomorrow? Or did you remember to do that? Or, like this.
It's like all of a sudden your work is at home with you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Always.
Yeah. I try to bring my work home, and my wife's like, yeah, let's not talk about that. And I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah. It's hard because it was my mom and my dad, so the three of us it was really hard to turn off. We never even tried. Like it was just the life.
Right. Why fight it?
Yeah.
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 And how natural for the oldest child to be the one that's like all in, being part of the business. I think that happens a lot. You're like the leader. You're in there. I don't know.
Yeah, probably too, because like my parents were pretty, like my dad started his business when he was 21, and now thinking like 21, like you're a baby at 21, and they had me around like 24, 25-ish. So like I was really young in like the early days. So I think I was probably just literally always there.
Right. Yeah. That's sometimes the problem with entrepreneurship is, especially when you have a place of business you have to be, your kids are just going to be there with you sometimes. Yeah. They're just going to see you in the work all the time. And you obviously just adopted whatever they were doing.
Which, I mean, I think there would be pros and cons to that. I mean, like, you're watching your parents build this thing, this business, this entity, whatever you want to call it. And there's work ethic, and there's, I think a lot of good values to pull from that. But the downside is you're stuck at a car shop all day.
Yeah. And like when I was younger, especially when we had like the quick change shop, it was really fun. And I actually really I actually probably miss that more than the second tier of the business that we had. More so just because of the people, and yeah, for me it was fun.
Right.
In high school.
Are you an extrovert? Like, are you like being around people fills your cup?
No, but I think I used to think that I was, and I was
okay.
It wasn't until COVID and some other like work stuff that I was like, I actually feel so much better without trying to be on all the time.
Right.
You were like, this is exhausting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't know that I was like so exhausted just from talking to people.
Wow. Right? You're on a journey. Still on the journey. We're all on a journey. I love that. Yeah. So you leave the business. What was like your first plan of attack? Did you have a plan? Where did that take you?
So we went to like the Dundas Hamilton area for a little bit. So I
sorry. So sorry to hear that.
I love Dundas.
I lived in
Hamilton.
Dundas is great. I lived on the mountain for 5 years. So
So I went to school for like a year in London, and then otherwise I didn't really leave like the area other than like for fun things.
Real London or Ontario London?
Yeah, just Ontario London.
Okay. What'd you do?
Entrepreneurship certificate.
Nice.
I was going for business at Fanshawe, yeah.
Nice.
I was going to go for business, and then I did the first year, and I kept tallying how much it was all costing, and I was like, could probably just be making money and learning a lot of this on the fly. So I wrapped it up with the certificate and went back home and just carried on working.
Nice.
Which worked out good because then I got my house like fairly young. But anyway, so when we went to the Dundas Hamilton area, because we had the house here, we rented out our basement and just kind of like figured out how to navigate that. The biggest thing I noticed when I left the family business is I was very, I didn't give enough credit to how much I was doing for at or for the family business. And I felt like I didn't have skills to put on a resume, and I didn't know how to, long story short, I basically went from running a business to working a reception job in Waterdown for an engineering company. And yeah, I did that for a little bit, and then I got promoted from there to do part of their marketing team, which was interesting. But the biggest thing I started realizing was that I really only had, not that I didn't have the work ethic, because I definitely have a work ethic, but I would never call in sick because the people I was calling in sick to. And the minute I didn't have that family connection, I realized how hard it is to do something you don't want to be doing for other people that you have no connection to. And I really started thinking ooh, life is going to be really long if this is what it's going to feel like, and really trying to think okay, what kind of life can I build? Because every morning I would wake up feeling like I do not want to go answer that phone for, people I don't know. And they were great people and the atmosphere was awesome. But yeah, it just was not what I wanted to be doing. And then, basically a couple more jobs kind of like that, to then realize that if I'm going to be exhausting myself emotionally to try and have these jobs that aren't fulfilling, to go the other way and exhaust myself energy-wise and maybe a little bit of risk financially to pursue my own thing in the arts.
Wow. You're speaking our language.
Yes.
Can definitely relate to that. I love the tale of going and finding the experiences, identifying some things, which ultimately is getting to you where you are. We've all done that in some ways, but to go do these different jobs, quickly realize, hey, I don't like this or I don't like that, identifying those things.
Yeah.
That's how you end up where you are. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So was art there all along, or did we? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna again go out on a limb here based on the paintings. I think they're paintings, not prints. I see behind you.
Painting. This one's not mine. That's a different, a Canadian artist.
Okay.
But you also do some other things, not just art, not just painting. You said you did some writing, which I think you have two published children's books.
Children's books that I wrote and illustrated.
What?
Yeah.
They're actually up there. You can kind of see them on the top of the shelf behind your head.
Yeah. And then I had a lady that I met crochet me the characters.
Oh my goodness. Okay, can we plug them here real quick? What are they called? Can we get a synopsis with it? I mean, go buy the book, people, but
I have it in go for it.
Yeah, so one of the things that I started kind of doing was thinking of all the things I've always wanted to make, and just whatever way I was okay, let's just check them off as they go. So I had a book that I wrote a long time ago about a girl named Jem who would wander the beach and find cool things. And it was kind of a manifestation story. It's she'd think of something would show up, and then it just kind of builds. And then I didn't know what self-publishing looked like or how to do it. So then I started looking into that, and I was scared to do her first in case it didn't work. So then I made up this other story kind of on a whim called The Old Lady in the Shed. And it's about basically finding a little old lady in the shed and what she does in her day. The funny thing is she's done way better than Jem. So then I self-published that one through a company. And then I followed it up with the story that I wrote with more oomph behind and was more excited to put out in the world. So yeah, it's called The Old Lady in the Shed was the first one. And then the second one's Jem's Unicorn. And
love that.
One, Indigo.
Yeah, I actually have Jem's unicorn. I think Mariah bought it for my son for his birthday. So we've read that quite a few times.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because the kids like the old lady better.
All right. I'm down. We read a lot of books in our house. I'm sure, Ben, you're doing that too now. So.
Oh, yes. My daughter thinks every old person's name is Mimi. Yeah,
Hard to distinguish the old people.
Right? It's hilarious until she starts doing it in public, and they're like, "Oh no, stop that over here, sweetie."
Yeah, because it's an invitation for an older person to come up and be like, "Oh my God, you're so cute." They want to touch your kid, and you're like,
yeah,
"No."
Yeah, she's covered in snot. Please don't. We're trying to get through this one. Yeah.
Yes. So writing, painting. Actually, if you can kind of see behind me, I have one of Jess's prints. This is kind of a series she had, I think you had, and it's like basically a drawing, and then there's almost like a psychological connection of what the art represents. And I wish I could read it to you guys because it is a great piece. It actually felt really personal. When I read it, I was like, I don't know, there was something about it that just felt close. And so she allowed me to put it up in my office. So it's up here on display. So you've been doing kind of stuff like that. What else you got into?
Yeah, those have been kind of an ongoing thing, mostly because I do like the writing so much. And then I was finding that if people can, like, when people read the writing, because I used to write, so on my prints, I used to have that writing like on the back of them. And I did like a big event thing, and the more I was able to get people to read the back, the more likely they were to take it home. So then I was like, maybe they should be more of like a one thing. And then I started doing the poetic print. So it's like the artwork and then the writing underneath. And the one that Richard has called Beautiful Adaptation. And yeah, it's actually made some people like tear up at stuff, and it's really cool. And it's just cool, like, yeah, the way that people can connect deeper when they read something is really cool.
Yeah, just to give you a basis of what it represents, it talks about a tree and how a tree has this imperfection in it. And what it thought was an imperfection is actually represents almost a battle or the growth it's had. And now it's just part of it, and it makes it stronger and represents a time in its life that it had to, work through these hard times. And Ben knows a little bit of my history, but that related a lot. It's kind of like a scar.
Yeah.
So
well,
I think that's cool.
The tree that inspired it is just outside of Awenda Park, and it's this big burly thing. And then I was like, that's really cool. And then I was looking, and my dad does a bunch of different creative things too. So, and wood carving is one of them. And so like to get a burl out of a tree to make a bowl, it's expensive. Like it's worth something. And I was like, what causes these burls? And when I looked into it, it was like usually a disease, something traumatic happened to the tree. So it's like something bad happened to the tree. It made this thing, and now this thing is worth something to someone else. And I was like, geez, that could probably apply to a lot of people, because a lot of the time what makes us the weird and wonderful, cool people that we are is maybe some hardships. So yeah, then it was like building off of that. Yeah.
Wow. That's so
powerful.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, like you kind of see it. Like, yes, I do real estate, but I do some acting as well. So you kind of see it when you're looking at character breakdowns or like trying to dissect a character. I mean, it's the flaws that make characters interesting, right? Yeah. If you have the good guy who shows up and is absolutely perfect, makes every right decision, that's not an interesting story, right? No. Like what terrible things, what Achilles heel did you have to overcome to, get to where you are? So, I mean, I love that. The like flaws are everything. Flaws are the reason I think life is interesting.
Flaws, imperfections, like, yeah, I think that's sums it up.
And nature's a really good example of like how to use the flaws, or like, yeah.
How flaws are valuable.
Yeah.
Put flaws in quotation marks here because flaws not like a bad thing, just like
unplanned aspects of.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
We're getting deep here on the open house today.
I think that also makes me think, and just from seeing your art, Jess, very influenced by nature. You have a love for nature and things like that. I think I saw somewhere that you kind of described yourself as an ecologist, so someone that kind of loves nature in simple life. How is that part of where you grew up in like Awenda Park and those type of things, or where does that come from, that influence?
Yeah, so my mom and dad are big outdoor people. We have like a little property outside of Sudbury that we would spend a lot of our time. but before that, we would go camping all the time. And even before I was born, like my dad used to joke that like he would work at the shop, and then Saturdays they were done at noon. He would already have like the canoe and everything ready. His friends would be waiting, and then they'd go on their trip. Sunday night, come back, do it all again. We spent a lot of time camping, then at our camp in Sudbury. And yeah, I like to be alone, so I would just like hang out alone, play, and make stuff out of things I found. I don't know. It's just always been where I prefer to be. If my husband was like, you know what, we should sell everything and just like go live in like a little cabin somewhere, I would 1000% be like, packed. We're going. I really like being outside.
Tiny is in the middle of nowhere enough.
It's getting busier.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. That solitude is less and less these days. Now that's cool. So you spend a lot of time in nature. That's obviously a big influence. Do you do art of other things? I think I saw some structure stuff, but do you do any portraits or stuff like that?
Not a ton. I did go through. The other thing I've been like working on is when I started doing this for money, I originally started doing things that I thought would sell, like that I knew would sell. So I would do like little watercolors of people's houses or cottages, things like that. I still sometimes do them. I don't like doing them, but I know that they'll sell.
Right. The commercial aspect of art. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have done stuff like that. But yeah, mostly outdoorsy stuff. The most recent thing I've been trying to like kind of tackle into is doing like an animated series on YouTube. So I've been messing around what that would entail.
Like doing the animation yourself?
Yeah, and then having like, because I've always wanted to have a bit of a vlog, but I don't love that kind of attention. I don't think I would like that. So I was going to make a cartoon version.
It was conflicting with your introverted personality, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that. So then if I make a cartoon version that's like, it is basically all the things that I would do in a vlog, but this cartoon is doing it, I think that would feel pretty good.
Interesting.
What is that, like VTubers? Is that what that's called? Where people like, they are not actually on camera, but they're like an animated character. And they're like, it's basically them doing whatever they would do on YouTube or like streaming, but they're animated. Is that VTubing? Is that what's called?
Oh, I don't know.
Virtual.
I want to make like a genuine cartoon.
Which I think is cooler because a lot of people are doing like anime characters, but you would be like a designed character yourself. Yeah. Oh, very cool.
I haven't been to that corner of the internet yet, but it sounds interesting.
I've never watched anything that like I just want to make it. I should find something, but I'm like thinking like I don't even have like an example to give. I don't know.
What's that channel called if you want to share?
Oh, I haven't even started the channel.
Oh, it's just an idea.
Literally, yeah. I've drawn her, and that's as far as I've gotten.
I think that's a great idea. Sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now, is like figuring out like what does that even look like.
So sometimes the fun part.
On that note, I'm curious. What does an ideal day look like for Jess?
Well, this is the tricky part because I have been both businesses that I was a part of with my mom and dad were extremely fast paced, and it was just like super productive. And like the one business was, well, even the oil change business was like 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, things should be moving and doing. And letting go of that like structure of time is very hard. And then also still battling with like the things that I know would maybe make money, but then my heart's just not into it. So then I get bogged down a little bit that way. So yeah, last year was my first full year doing this full time. And I guess like the only thing I can say is it takes a long time to get into a groove because I think my ideal day would just be whatever's like front of mind for a project, to just have the freedom to be able to work on it and not have like things super rigidly structured so that I can't just act on an idea.
makes me wonder, in your day, are there things that you need to do, like for your mental or your physical self, to get into that space of doing art? Like whether you're drawing or writing or anything, is there things that you have to do to get into that mode in your day? Or can you just sit down and do it?
If I can get myself to just sit down, I can just sit down and do it.
That means you just love doing it, in my mind. Cool. Yeah, because sometimes you need influence.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was going to say, it's more so deciding of what the thing to do is the tricky part.
Right.
Do you feel like you can schedule that kind of thing? Or is it something like, if I'm on, I get the wind's blowing a certain way and like I'm, this project is the one that's appealing to me today. That's what I'm doing today. Not like
Yeah. So last year I was trying to schedule things and everything worked against that. So this year I'm like, okay, I'll have a loose idea of the things that need doing. And I kind of keep track of which ones, because some things are commissions. So then they do have a bit of a timeline,
right.
Or it's an income thing. Like I need to get this done so I can get paid for that and kind of keep that flow going. But I think I'm not going to try and rigidly schedule it as best I can to see if that leads to better success, just because it hopefully will happen more naturally. Where anytime I was kind of trying to stick to a rigid schedule last year, the weirdest things would come up to derail it. Like it wasn't meant to
that
be.
happens to us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys in the industries that you guys are in, like I just, one conversation could go way longer than you thought it would, or there's just so many things you can't plan for.
Yeah, dealing with people is very much like that.
To quote an idiot president, it's nice to have concepts of a plan. Right? But the concept is about as far as I get, because everything is flexible and movable and to an extent.
Yeah.
That's improv. You do have to expect these things to spontaneously happen. Then you need to fix. Yeah.
Hi.
Why does it do that to you all the time?
Oh, my battery died on my little.
I see.
Yeah, keep it in the episode.
It's once.
I'm not even plugged in.
So, me and Ben, in our industries, there is a lot of people that you can get influence from, whether it's coaches or online self-help and whatnot. And they always talk about having a rigid schedule and committing
so
to
many
things
of them.
every day. Yeah, it's insane, right? It's just always in your face. So, but sometimes you need that influence because you wouldn't know if you didn't hear it. So we do need it. Do you have that in the art world? Where do you get your influence that like inspires what you have to do every day to be successful or make money even as an artist? Do you have anyone that helps you with that?
Yeah, so this has been kind of an interesting thing too. I do follow a lot of artists. I'm noticing a lot of the artists that I feel like are from my experience, the artists that I feel like are very loud in how they're doing it and how they're making money also are doing some sort of coaching business as well, where they're giving that advice for like courses or a monetary value. I haven't really come across any artists that I feel more genuinely share how they go through their day to day and where the money's coming, and more specifically, what kind of money is coming in and out. But I've actually been finding more connection and inspiration, honestly, from hanging out with yourself, Richard, and chatting with Reed, another friend of ours that's a real estate agent, and another friend of mine who's a financial advisor, because it's an interesting thing of you're going out, you're trying to network, you're trying to meet people, and then offer them something as well. And there's some similarity I'm seeing, and the inspiration of like the unpaid time and how that'll pay off down the road. Because a lot of my friends are in jobs that there is no unpaid time. You just are always making consistent money. So it's hard to find that like validation, but also the support in it to not feel the doubt that it might not pay off. So I think going forward, I'm going to keep trying to find people who are, even if it's, mortgages and houses, different industries, but it's like it's the same. You're committing time and you're investing time knowing it's building this bigger thing, and you just have to like trust that it's going to work out. So yeah, I guess in the long-winded to answer the question, people who are trusting that the time they're spending is investing in something bigger that you can't maybe even see yet, but it is going to come.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're blindly going about it, it's like we talked about blind faith. You're putting in the time, you're talking to a lot of people, you think you're doing the right things, but you don't see the tangible results right away. It's so easy to doubt. Sometimes you feel like an idiot. You're like, dang, I've been committing to this for so long. But then all of a sudden it really starts to pay off. And that's where the realization is, okay, I just got to keep doing this. It's working. So yeah, it is good to talk to the people that are doing it. It doesn't matter the industry. We can all relate. I suspect that being an artist with the stigma behind art being like a dead end would be hard, right? That in your ear all the time. Because that's just extra doubt.
Yeah. And there's a lot of artists that I interact with that it's not their full-time thing. And yeah, like there's even the doubt within the community of people doing the same thing. It's definitely really tricky. I think the thing that I hope will make it different for me is I'm not looking for just one income stream. You know, I really like having multiple projects on the go at the same time. And if it's multiple, like if it's a YouTube thing and maybe it's commissions over here or the books and things will just keep kind of going. Yeah, as long as I'm having fun and the bills are somewhat getting paid, I'm thinking I'm a winner.
I think that's
Nice. I love that.
golden ticket over there. I've got some actor friends who like they live and die by the audition. They're like, oh man, I got to get this or else, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, the odds aren't in your favor, and it's nothing that you can do about it. Like maybe this little piece of hair is just not what they're looking for, and that's so if you're not having fun, I think during that process, it's going to be a long, like you said, a long life, right?
Yeah, for sure. And the ebbs and flows, like, I think the other thing that sometimes maybe it's just me, but sometimes I used to feel like if I did have a part-time job that I'm not succeeding the way I want to. But then it's like, but why does that define that success?
Right. Like by whose standard?
Towards the end goal. Yeah, like it's just really reframing how to look at it. And for me, I just continuously remind myself, like, if you're having fun, that's what we want, because everything else you can figure out. It's hard
You're trying to rewrite the code that has been imprinted in your brain since you started going to elementary school on this 9-to-5 concept and traditional ways of working. It's hard for all of us to get out of that. It's ingrained in us. And then obviously having your parents' type of business, they were entrepreneurs, but they also worked in that window of time too. So really, so hard for anyone.
It's crazy. You don't realize how deep rooted it is until you try and break it. Yeah. And your own brain is like, what are you doing?
Two sides battling each other. There's the side that's, hey, I want to change. I want to be happy. I want to have fun, control my life. And then there's the, hey, you're making a stupid mistake, you idiot. This is what you're told not to do all your life.
This ain't gonna work.
Yeah. I'm going to lump us all into the same generation. And I wonder if like the generation coming after us is going to have an easier time with that. Because I mean, I think there's less, I've got no data or stats to back this up. So please, no one quote me on this, but I feel like there's less and less of that traditional 9-to-5 work and more, the entire workforce is shifting towards this like independent contractor gig economy. And maybe that's just because, I feel like I'm on that side of the equation right now. But, I wonder if, the people born in the mid 2000s, in 2010s are going to come up into the workforce and be like, you know what, flexibility, not having to like this hustle culture, like the 9-to-5 every day, if that's going to be a easier transition for them.
I think so. I think also even just for the mere fact that I think people are valuing their home life more than their work success in life.
Right.
I feel like that's starting to slowly like teeter, because even industries that I think you would never hear of someone like I know of people that work in like larger utility companies that's like, oh, it's always been such a good job, and something didn't go the way that person wanted, and then they left the job, and everyone's like, what? Like, why would you leave that job? And I'm like, I think that really tells that we're starting to shift our values, which is really good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what the next few decades are going to look like.
Yeah, well, it's going to come from us as parents, right? Like, we're going to show our kids this is a lifestyle that I chose so we could have the time together. Like, I try to explain to my son, hey, like, my dad was a shift worker at a factory, and he worked on a rotating schedule where he worked nights and then days. So there was 5 days in a row where I wouldn't see my dad. And so I try to explain to him how fortunate that I get to be home and do these things with him and see him every evening. Like, he doesn't know the difference.
So you will spend time with me and enjoy it, damn it.
Stop yelling at me. Stop giving me a hard time about everything. Just get dressed. Yeah. I know it's not even just to explain to have any leverage or power or to put me on a pedestal. It's just to be like, we're both fortunate. You're fortunate, but I'm fortunate. My dad, I feel bad that my dad didn't get that. And he just thought that that's what he had to do. Go to work, make money, provide, no matter the sacrifice. And I feel bad for him for that. Right. But I'm willing to make that change. And I think that will imprint on our kids, and they'll want that same thing. But yeah, I want that for everybody. Since being self-employed, I think everybody should be a subcontract or somewhat an entrepreneur. I think the idea of working in a corporation blindly for people you don't know is, like you talked about, being uncomfortable. It doesn't take long for you to feel like this is a bad place for me. This is not healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's maybe a cohort where that's like, you show up, you do your job, you go home, and then you can put it aside. Totally. I could see, he says as he rocks back and forth in his chair, I could see that there being some pros to that. But
ignorance is bliss, man. If you just pretend like everything's fine and you just go about your motions, you don't have to work very hard when you're in a corporation. You can just do the bare minimum and get paid and not worry about it.
Right. But I mean, I think we're also talking in grass is green, wherever you're not kind of situation.
Well, in this instance, for me at least, it was greener.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can only speak from my experience.
And it takes all kinds. I think that some people are maybe genuinely happier in a structure, not having to take any risk on their own.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's not for everybody. But yeah, okay. This kind of gets me into a little bit of something else that I wanted to talk about that me and Jess talk about is psychology and her interest of that. And another career she thought about pursuing that she had mentioned to me. We've exchanged some books and things like that, and we've talked a bit about it, but she's got me on this new book. And I don't know how you maybe knew the author or whatever, but you got me on this new book, and it's about people trying to accomplish impossible tasks and spending their entire life trying to accomplish it. And I didn't know what to expect from the book. I get into the book, and I don't know about you, Jess, but it just got my mind going crazy. There's a guy in a rainforest trying to find an animal that he thinks exists, that he can't actually prove exists. And he spent so many years in the middle of the jungle just trying to find this species. And the mental fortitude that it takes and the commitment, I envy it. It's wild. But what a good book. Have you gotten into it? I don't know.
I've gone as far as that chapter. I always have multiple books on the go. But yeah, that one I came across just in a bookstore. He's a Canadian author. He's a journalist or something, I think. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Something.
I'll bring it up here.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's definitely really cool. And yeah, he just talks about people who the one in the intro, he talks about a politician in Toronto, and I didn't even know this party existed. It was the Animal Humane Society party or something like that. It's a political group in Toronto. She's run for 10 years. Every single year she gets 198 votes or something, but every year she goes back out, she lobbies, she goes door to door, she won't give up, but she knows she's never going to win. And yeah, so this journalist was that's what started the book, was kind of what makes people just keep doing these things that they know they're never actually going to succeed at. Yeah, I just think it's a really interesting concept. And I think, I don't know. But yeah, I made it as the guy in the jungle.
it goes back to what you were saying before, though. It's when you're talking about seeing other people that are doing things, hoping that it's going to pay off down the line, right?
Mhm.
Like they just keep going about socializing and meeting people and trying these things, working for free, knowing or hoping that there is this result down the line. And that's kind of what these guys are doing. They're just committing to the same passion every day. The book is called Live to See the Day, Impossible Goals, Unimaginable Futures, and the Pursuit of Things That May Never Be. And yeah, I'm like probably on the third chapter now.
Sponsor of today's episode.
Yeah.
This book,
but
brought to you.
Totally sick. The first chapter is about them trying to find aliens, which is also like a super crazy feat.
That's so interesting.
It is.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's got my brain going.
I feel like it also, when I was saying about like nature being a good example of like dealing with imperfections, but it's also like a very good example of long-term plans. And I feel like that's another reason I really like using nature as just something to like use an example, because we're so used to feeling like we should have immediate results from the world that we live in, and like things should be fast. You know, I should start that YouTube channel and I should be famous by Tuesday, but it's not true. It takes time, and it like takes a long time. And even like the lady in the, like, I never heard of that like political party before. Now I have. She's got one more person. I can't vote for her. She's in
You would
trial,
totally vote for her.
yeah, for dedication alone. Yeah, like I just think that that's really cool. And even recently at the coffee shop in Midland, one of the girls was making the coffee, and she's like, "Are you the artist that does like nature stuff and you're always barefoot?" And I was like, "I think so. I think I know who you're talking about." And she's like, "Oh, like I saw like something come up and it was really cool. Like I'll have to check it out." And then I left. I was like, "I'm making it. People are finding me slowly but surely." But yeah, it's
We
like
get
little
those.
things like that. Like, yeah, it
We
just
get those
takes
when you get like a client referred to you from somebody. You're like, I'm on top of the world. This is the best.
Right?
I'm making it. Oh, someone knows
Yeah.
who I am. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Yeah.
You got to
But
revel in
anything
those
like-
moments.
Mm-hmm. But it takes time.
It does.
Absolutely.
And I have mentioned this to Ben, but I have been, for my first time buyers or people that are buying houses, I've been getting gifts just as like a first time buyer gift. I'm sure you get gifts for your clients too, Ben, but Jess has been my main go-to for getting those gifts, and tons of options. I think they've been great.
Nice.
So you're on
Nice.
people's walls now too. You're in people's
know.
houses. That's cool.
Actually, Reed gifted the one that you have to a client recently, and when he asked like if she liked it, she's like, "How did you like pick this for me? Like it's so like," she just said she really really connected with it. And Reed's like, "I don't know, I just read it and thought this might be like, yeah." So that's cool.
That's what you hope for your art. You hope people see it, connect with it, even in their own perception. Like obviously these ones have words, so you know the meaning, but to look at a picture or even the art you have behind you and make an impression or a perspective from someone, they connect to it. That's what you're hoping for art, right? That's what the impact of art is supposed to have. I did take a art history class because I want to be a history major. So I do know a lot about the history of art and the materials that people use through history to create art. And it says a lot about the time period that you live in or the artists themselves, whether they're wealthy or poor. Is there something in your art that you think connects with where you are in life or our time period? Is there anything there that you think can connect?
That's a good question.
I think yes, because I think I sometimes find myself doing things that looks kind of like graphic-y, like as if it was like graphic design, like shapes with lines. The ink stuff was this work behind me. I really liked that ink stuff when I was a kid. Like I've had these for like my whole life. It was like someone my grandpa knew. Yeah, I don't know if it would, but I would say probably the colors and the graphic-y kind of look that I sometimes do.
It's like got a modern look.
Yeah, or like animated kind of.
Okay.
I don't even mean to, but sometimes when I've done something, I'm like, that looks kind of like animated, and I didn't mean for it to be.
That's actually pretty telling of the time period we're in.
Yeah, I feel like it's very...
Because that is modern art, really. Like graphic design is kind of taking over the art space. And I will say, what I see in especially art that's like environment or nature. And I only believe this in our generation. Maybe it's more just personal, and maybe you can relate to this, Jess. But that idea of living off grid or living in nature, I think people are connecting well with that because we've gone so far the other way that it feels inhuman, and people want to get back to that. So I think all of us, if someone said, "Hey, you can afford to go have a small home, live this simple life with your family, you get to be with them every day, as much time as you want, eat healthy, live off the land." I think a lot of people are really appealing to that these days, and your art speaks to that, to me at least.
Yeah,
So I think that's part of modern times as well.
for sure. And the way that like if you slow down, it's almost like silently protesting against all of the stuff that we are like constantly being made to do, and you do that in nature without even meaning to. You know what I mean?
So
It's
cool.
like
The
you
loud
like
noises, the
nature. Yeah.
notifications, everything.
Yeah, and if you like respect nature and take time in nature, it's almost like, yeah, I don't
It's
know.
healing. It feels good because that's what humans did for thousands of years, right? They
Yeah.
spent time with each other and in nature. That was all you had. There was no other option. And we're generations in that don't know what that's like, and they're missing it. They don't even know sometimes that they're missing it, but we are.
Yes, that's
We
the
crave it.
scary part. They don't know they're missing it, and like it more and more the nature gets taken. And if people don't know that they're missing it, yeah. 'Cause sometimes I think like that is another way that I would like to definitely like keep pushing is almost using it as like a form of activism and like awareness. It's like just go out into a trail for a few minutes, see how it feels, and then tell me if you're okay with that park going away.
Now,
Or
is barefoot optional,
I mean, I
Got to
would
get grounded,
recommend
bro.
whatever you want.
right?
It's comfy.
I am not a
I,
hobbit. My feet are not leathery.
I, in a moment of like honesty, like I would love to be able to like go off grid and like live that life, but I think I've uh, I've become too reliant on the comforts
Totally.
of like everyday like hot water without having to like start a fire is like,
I feel
man,
like there's like a really cool blend that is
You
coming.
can achieve it. These days with the
Yeah,
technology, you can achieve
yeah.
that perfect blend,
I
I
always
think.
joke about how like I would love for us to go back in time in terms of like what our responsibilities would be, but then like let's keep the technology somehow so that we can still have certain things, you can still travel. Yeah, I don't know how to achieve that world, but
right.
Hmm.
there's definitely aspects that I too wouldn't want to
It
just
would
like
by no
say
means
goodbye.
be easy. Like if you wanted to go live off grid, you have to accept if you're going to face nature, it's going to be tough. Like nature is
Totally.
unforgiving. You have to respect it. And you have to be willing to give up some of those things, right? And I think a lot of people in our generation want that simplicity. They want to, like you said, go back a little bit on the responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
But do we also understand the concept? And the only way you can understand that is if you know your history. You know what living 50 to 100 years ago was like. And it ain't
Yeah.
so easy, right? But maybe with modern technology, it could be a little easier. You can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
One day,
Wild.
my sisters are always up my sisters are very much in this mindset, and they want me to get a like big piece of land, and we'll just do like a family compound. That's their dream. I keep hearing about it every time we get
Richard, I gotta say, you've got the beard for it.
lumberjack.
You definitely you can pull off like throw a flannel on there and you're in business.
I do have the body hair to keep warm too. It's nice. Never have to worry about
Ugh.
that. Yeah. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. Too embarrassing.
All right.
Yeah. So, unless there's something else like psychology, I don't know if there's a certain psychologist or topic in psychology that you really prefer. Is there anything in there that influences you?
Dr. Gabor is like definitely one of the biggest ones that I like to read. Like a lot of his books are really cool. He's quite modest in like what he's been doing, and he's definitely more about like say if you have addictions or something like that, he's like you don't have an addiction problem. You have something that you're masking with addictions. I really like that way of looking at things of like,
Interesting.
not judging by the surface, but figuring out what's like, what are you trying to mask or suppress. I really like him for that.
Yeah, so it's Gabor Mate.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did do that one book or listen to that one book you sent me about addiction and he just talks about the natural pain that we all get as humans in these traumatic events and how addiction is kind of masking this pain and trauma. It's the person trying to just numb it out. So trying to get to the root of what happened.
And sometimes, like, for someone who's very sensitive, what we kind of think of being traumatic, it doesn't have to be like the super scary things that we often think about. It could be something very, what would maybe seem like not much to someone else. If you're a sensitive person, like, it just sticks with you differently. Mm-hmm. Or if you, so it's almost like, just giving the validation to everyone for how they're feeling, and how do you get back to feeling better?
Do you feel like as you learn more and read more on this topic that it changes the way you interact with people, maybe on maybe like surface level, and even like when you have like maybe deeper conversations with like friends or colleagues?
For sure, yeah. And even when I think about like my years in customer service, like if I would have been more read up then, just having more patience for people in general.
Right.
And like, just more empathy, because you never know what people are dealing with.
I guess secretly what I was asking there is, have you been analyzing me throughout this whole conversation?
Oh, definitely not.
No, and then be like, this guy's off the deep end. We should probably.
No. I just read things and then totally internalize it on my own self, and I have never been trained or anything to read other people.
I think it makes you do the opposite. It's like you have humility and you just kind of suspect that everybody has their own story and has their own reasons.
Yeah.
And crappy things have happened because they happen to everybody. And I think that's how I look at it. But when you deal with people every day, like you said, customer service, or for us, client relations, understanding psychology, why people do things or why they don't, it does help you navigate that world, I think, a little bit. We talk about needing financial education in the world, which I think we do. But I also think we need psychology education. Like, kids have to grow up understanding why humans do what they do. So when they get to adults, they can be like, all right, I understand why I'm acting this way or why I'm behaving this way, how to get help and everything like that. I think that is important as well. I think a lot of people need to know more about that.
Yeah.
So Jess, before we let you go, I want to plug your art. Where I think you mentioned people can buy the book at Indigo. Is it available at Georgian Bay Bookstore in Midland? Do we know?
They do have people on commission, yeah.
Okay. Should like people follow you anywhere? Is there a website we can find you at?
Yeah, so I've got a website that has my art and writing and pretty much everything. It's just artistjessgraham.ca. And then my Instagram handle's the same, artistjessgraham. And then otherwise I do different events and artisan market type things sometimes. So through my Instagram, I usually will post what's going on that way. But yeah, my website's definitely always there.
All right. And for my very high-end luxury waterfront, clients who are buying $4, $5, $6 million houses, when they want a commission done, best just to send you a DM or?
Yeah, or through the website. I've got forms too.
Perfect.
Like, good, you guys are going to exchange numbers and be friends after this. I did actually have a question now that you mentioned going to like these markets and publicly sharing your art. We kind of talked about this before, but what does that feel like going somewhere and like trying to publicly, like you're like setting up a booth and publicly displaying your creations, the things you put hard work into? Tell me about the highs and the lows. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's very like vulnerable. You feel very, until you've made like, especially like in that first few minutes of the event started, people are walking by, no one's really connecting with anybody yet. It feels like you're just standing out on display, and it feels very weird. I've gotten definitely a lot better at just, like we were saying, like everyone's got their own thing, everyone's busy, just like trusting that the people will find the things and notice the things that they're supposed to see. But yeah, no, it's definitely very weird. It's really hard to not also really stress about the money aspect of it all. Sometimes it's like when I've made the first sale, I'm like, oh, okay, there we go. And I'm trying to as much as obviously we all need money, but there's also a deeper, bigger thing, even the poster you were saying, Richard, maybe that poster is just supposed to get out there and and do something for people. And so I'm trying to less stress about the money and just enjoy the ebbs and flows. But yeah, it's definitely very vulnerable bringing stuff that I've made. I have had times when people have also given really weird and rude comments and having to be okay, I don't know what that was about,
Really?
but personally, oh yeah, people are, yeah.
People.
What? I always wonder what's going on that's so so bad in your life that you've got to go to a market and shit on an artist.
Don't say anything at all.
Right?
We all do that. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been definitely a ride. Yeah, the biggest thing though, I think, is just the stress of the money it costs to do some of these things, and then trying to make that back, but then also trying to keep the the perspective of what art's supposed to be about. And yeah, it's tricky.
It's such an interesting blend, being basically the whole business manager, president, CEO of your art business, because it's a business, but also being the artist and wanting the message, the art to reach people. And it's got to be such a delicate balance.
Yeah, it is, because I did the one of a kind show in Toronto this year, and there is a side of me that knows if you're standing at the front of the booth and you address anyone that makes eye contact with you, you're probably going to sell things, or there's things that you could say to kind of influence people. I'm very I know how to sell stuff, but then I get this cringy feeling of but that's not what this is supposed to be about. So then I find it takes me a while to kind of figure out the balance between the two, and then what version of that balance I'm going to do at that event. And that was definitely the hardest one. Because yeah, it's just, it definitely pays off to just be very vulnerable and share all of the behind stories of the art, but sometimes it feels weird to do it, and I'm not very good at it sometimes.
We all have uncomfortable parts of our job that we just wish someone else would do. And when you make enough money, you can pay someone to do it, but you just can't right now.
It wouldn't be the same. Yeah. Cause even, the one of a kind show, they say that the artists are there doing all of the hours by themselves for that reason. People want to meet the artist. They want to talk to the person who made it. But yeah, sometimes I've often thought about doing some sort of collab where it would be multiple artists in one setting, and so that we could just kind of talk about each other's art, but then the artist is there for that little bit of connection, because I could talk up someone else's stuff, no problem at all.
True.
It's so hard to do it for yourself.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit of our Canadianness too. We've grown up since birth saying we are the polite country, we are the nice country, we are the oh no, sorry. It's so, and I think that translates into business too, where it's hard to self promote because you almost want to be apologetic for being good at your job.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's another thing, finding I have started to find people who are really good at just networking themselves, because why shouldn't you be? It's such a good thing to do. Yeah, and it's definitely a skill that takes a while to.
It should be unapologetic, right? If you're an artist and you've created something and one person has put that on their wall or said something nice about it, there's a very good chance there's a lot of people that are willing to do the same thing. And so you do have to be unapologetic about it. Same as one time I asked someone for a Google review, and I was like, hey, this isn't something I'm usually comfortable asking, but would you mind doing this? And she's like, you should be comfortable asking. It was a 7-year-old woman. You ask everybody, you deserve it. Well, I think
sometimes
that's it.
too, I'll think about if you were to ask me for a review, it's yeah, I would give a raving review, and I would do, so then I'm okay, other people probably feel that way about me. I could probably ask them for those types of supports and they would totally do it. But yeah, it's just the asking that feels funny. But everyone,
100%.
like so many people are probably willing to help give that extra push.
You bet.
Before we let you go, I wanted to say one thing. Have you guys ever seen the movie Red Violin? The Red Violin?
No.
It's about this Stradivarius. That's the violin, and it was made like 600 or 700 years ago. And someone had used their deceased wife's blood to paint the violin red.
Whoa.
Okay, but it made it special, whatever.
Right.
And it's about the story of it going from one hand to another of wealthy people through time. And I always think about art that way. You know, you make something today and it can last hundreds of years and be on so many impressions on so many different people and be all these different places, but still look the same at the end of the day when it gets there.
I have a follow-up question. Was the violin haunted in this movie? Because it sounds like a perfect, like the violin like secretly like strangles people or something with the.
I think it's the opposite. It's like the people that,
right?
Yeah, it's like the people that owned it. At the whole basis of the story is it's in modern times. All these families that have had this violin through time, the descendants of them are trying to auction and buy so they're all competing to buy this violin that's made an impression on all their families through history.
Oh,
it's a really good movie. And the idea is that this red violin, whoever made it in the blood and all that, it's made the artist better. It was actually the opposite. It's like spiritual in a good way, not a bad way. You know what I mean? However it was made ritualistically, make the musician better, or it sounded better. Yeah, great movie, honestly. Such a good movie to watch if you love art. I think it's a good one.
That's another thing that's always kind of funny about art too. Is like, I think like a bit of a joke, but honest truth is that usually things are worth more once the artist is dead. And I always joke with my partner and friends. I'm like, hey, hang on to that because when I croak,
right,
it'll be worth something.
So dark.
Yeah.
With a little bit of truth to it, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think Bob Hoffman ever made much money, but
right?
Extremely famous now.
Oh my God. So backwards. So backwards. Jess, it has been absolutely a joy meeting you. I hope I'm not too forward when I say we should be friends. I'm just gonna. Okay, I was gonna say you don't have to answer right now if you don't want to. Fear projection over here, but yeah, no, great chatting to you this hour. Thanks so much for coming on the show. How was it? Not too bad. You got through it okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, your fear when you ask people to do this is they want to say yes because they like you or they want to say yes, but there's like this other side of it that they may be a little uncomfortable. But I think just like us, when we come on, we're still a little nervous too, but then you get on, you start chatting, it just feels normal. And then it's like a good time by 10, 15 minutes in. And yeah, you have a lot going on. So it's easy to talk about, all these things. And, we could continue to talk obviously, but always happy to have people on. And we've been raving on our last few episodes about these amazing guests we have on, and you're one of them. So thanks for coming on.
So way to set the bar so friggin' high for the rest of our guests this year, Jess. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that.
Did you want to hold up the show, like what you got behind you? Is that something you just did?
This one?
Yeah.
It's not finished, actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so one of my like goals or whatever for this year is to actually have a lot of the time when you have to apply to certain things, they want to see like at least, let's say, like 6 cohesive pieces. So if they're all hanging in the room together, they all look like the same thing, which I am not very, like I usually am just kind of doing things on the fly. So I've been kind of trying to do things that are more similar so I could apply to stuff like that. So this one, I don't know if I'll be able to get it off. So this one was like one I did in the summer, and it's like legs kind of in the tree, and it's called Where Do I Begin? And it's basically like, when you're outside, like where does nature end and you begin, kind of like blurring together. And then so building off of that kind of idea of like immersed in nature, I'm trying to make some pieces that will all kind of be similar-ish so they could be shown together. So yeah, this one it's not finished, but just like, I don't know. some trees and ferns and a gal. And yeah, I don't know what this one will be called yet. And then I've kind of stalled on it. I know it's not finished, but I don't really know what else I want to do. But yeah, so that's part of this year is figuring out that and maybe applying to some more like artsy, prestigious-y, exhibit-y type things.
Sweet. I just want to say anybody that's listening on Spotify and not seeing this on YouTube, you now have a reason to go to the art channel or our website and see it.
Yeah. Or you know what you could do? You could finish this episode on Spotify, rate it, make sure you're following it, go rewatch the whole thing on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then go to the website just to really drive the point home.
That's it. That's the correct nature.
Yeah. All righty. Thanks so much, Jess. We appreciate you. And I'm sure we'll see you in the near future. Richard, I feel like I got to start pulling my weight here, man.
No, it's okay, man. You are pulling your weight. What are you talking about? We have our own jobs.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Again, for those who aren't aware,
editing. I'm giving you credit. Ben does all the editing and make sure our episodes are posted on time. And he shows up with great attitude and great energy every single time.
Right. Oh, Richard, you make me blush.
No, you do it to me too much, so I got to give back.
Well, thank you. Yeah, guys, we're into 2026 here. If you've been listening up to this point, thank you so much for. I just feel like a bunch of gratitude. I don't know about you, Richard, but like, you know, the fact that like I keep looking at the metrics, people keep watching or listening to the show. You know, it's cool. And, you know, yes, we're not in the tens of thousands of streams yet. But the fact that like people are taking an interest in our community, I think is magical. So
at the social media workshop we talked today, it's like, you know, we just talked a little bit about humans wanting to be with humans.
Right.
You know, we put all these celebrities and people like Joe Rogan and these podcasts on such a pedestal, and they're people that don't live in any vicinity to you. They have no connection to you, no relatability. So I think the power of bringing people that are someone you could run into down the street or actually meet is really intriguing. And that's what I want. That's what we wanted for the podcast. So people like Jess, special, different, one of a kind.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about during this episode too, where it's like, you know, you're trusting the process. You're building something that's going to take some time. As somebody who's posted like 150 videos on my YouTube channel over the last 3 years, like it takes time, right? Like and here we are in the beginning and enjoying every single minute of it. And I appreciate you, Richard. Appreciate having a partner in crime for this. So thank you.
Oh yeah. So much more fun when you're not doing it on your own.
Absolutely.
Ended up this way for sure.
But yeah. As always, in case we didn't say enough during the episode, make sure you get subscribed. Follow us wherever you get your podcast. We're now on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and I believe a system called Deezer. So if you're listening on any of those, welcome to the show. But just more ways to get your great open house content, everybody. So thank you so much for stopping by our open house.
I hope you enjoyed the snacks, the art talk, and we'll see you next time the house is open.
Roll the outro.
Outro.